Who has an idea of what ABC is? Activity-based costing. Who has an idea of what ABC is? ABC.
Good evening, sir. Hello.
Good morning, my vote.
Yeah, when we say ABC, it's a more flexible way to trace costs to processes and product cost. So is the cost pool divided by the cost driver to effectively distribute cost among the cost centers.
That's good. I like it. Yes, an effective way to trace costs. Okay, good. Yes, any other?
Okay, so it's a form of absorption costing that takes a different approach to the apportionment and absorption of production overhead cost.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yes, any other? ABC. Any other? ABC. Yes, any other? I'm sure a lot of you have heard ABC before. I'm taking inputs before we start. Yes, I'm sure a lot of you have heard ABC before.
Yes,
Before I
please.
start the question, yes, those I've heard from two people. The rest, you have no idea what ABC is. Activity-based costing. The name alone explains itself. Activity-based costing. A costing system based on activity. At least you can say that, right? So, yes, activity-based costing. A costing system based on activity. Okay, as simple as that. Now, in the past, when we used to absorb overheads, right? Overheads used to be a very small portion of our overall cost, right? So we usually used to absorb them. When we talk about absorption, it is how we put a portion of a cost into a product. Do you understand? So for instance, the rent that you pay, how can you divide the rent and put some into the product? So if I have rent of 10,000 cedis and I have a product, how can I have 10,000 products. How can I apportion the 10,000 cedis into the 10,000 products, right? So that each of them will get a portion of the rent. That is what we call absorption, okay? So when you're absorbing into a product, you are finding an arbitrary way to share the cost, the overhead cost. When we say overheads, overheads are actually indirect cost. The sum of all direct costs are known as prime cost, and the sum of all indirect costs are known as overheads. So usually to sum up overheads, we usually use an allocation and apportionment technique, okay, to get all the overheads into one umbrella, okay? Now, in the old times, as I told you, overheads were very small, unlike today where we use robots. Now that there's so much cost being incurred in modern manufacturing environment, machine intensive, unlike in the past where it was more labor intensive. Okay. So because of that, now overheads are a big part of your total cost. So because of that, we needed a more flexible way to allocate costs because not all costs are driven by labor hours. Can you all agree with me? Is it all costs that are driven by labor hours?
No, please.
Yes, but in the old way of apportioning costs, right? We could apportion costs using just labor hours. We could apportion costs just using machine hours. We could apportion costs just using an arbitrary basis like the units produced, right? And we could say that this wasn't the best way of what? Apportioning courses or apportioning costs. Are we okay? So usually these were some of the problems that the old way of apportioning costs used to bring, because let's say if I'm doing deliveries, then I could say that my deliveries are influenced by the number of deliveries I make. True or false? Because if I make one delivery, I incur the cost of one delivery. If I make 50 deliveries, then I incur cost for 50 deliveries. So the number of deliveries that I make or take, I get in it, determines how much delivery cost I incur. True or false?
True.
True.
Yes, but not the labor hours. In the past, I told you overheads were very small. That's why we just look for one basis to share the overhead. So whether delivery, whether labor costs, we put all together and just use one basis to absorb them. But now, because as I told you, overheads are a big part. Okay, overheads are a big part of what your total cost. Because of that, it becomes what? Very important to find a way to what? Allocate overheads. Is that okay? So this is the reason why ABC was actually created. Did it make sense to all of you? Did it make sense to all of you?
It did, sir.
Yes. So for me, the concept is more important. That's why I'm stressing on the concept now. You getting the concept alone will save us a lot of work to understand the whole framework of how ABC actually works. Are we okay? Now, for traditional costing, before you can even do ABC, you must understand traditional costing, or what we call absorption costing. You understanding absorption costing alone is enough to help you pass, right? Because there's no way you go and do absorption costing. Are you getting it? Alone without ABC. And there's no way you go and do ABC alone without understanding the traditional costing system. The traditional costing system is a part and parcel of your exam. Usually you'll be using it in places like budgeting, right? Because you are going to get what we call your OAR. So you must learn how to do basic costing, which I am going to illustrate right now, before you look at. I'm actually looking for the questions I compiled yesterday. I don't know where. So please hold on while I look for the questions. Oh, it was already open on the computer, but I don't know where it passed. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, yes.
Okay. So let's first understand the basic mechanics of traditional costing, and then we can dive into activity-based costing. All right. So when it comes to traditional costing, we absorb overheads using an overhead absorption rate. Okay. So usually once we are able to apportion and allocate overheads, group them, we use a rate. Are you getting it? The rate is like an arbitrary way to share the costs into the units. Are we okay? So our OAR is usually given as our total. This is from traditional costing, but you still need to understand the concept, because before you can do ABC. So you take your total budgeted overheads. Okay, your total budgeted overheads. No, why is this thing behaving like this? You take your total budgeted fixed overheads or total budgeted overheads over your total budgeted absorption basis. Now, what happens is that most of the time, this absorption basis can be anything, but usually ICA will prefer you use either labor hours or machine hours, okay? Most of the time. But it can be a percentage of maybe prime cost, a percentage of a particular cost, or it can be based on units produced, right? It can be anything. So you are spreading it over the absorption basis, but usually it is machine or labor hours most of the time. Okay, so put this down. This is the most important thing first that you need to understand. Are you getting it? Before you can start doing activity-based costing. Please, have you put it down?
Yes, please.
All right. Now, traditional costing, I told you you can't do away with it. Do you remember? Every time you will do traditional costing. So let's understand it briefly by taking a simple question where we are actually going to do traditional costing as well as activity-based costing, right? Yeah. So once you understand that alone, it's enough for a pass, because a lot of people usually struggle with traditional costing, right? Because of some of these issues. So we are going to take a basic question where we are going to apply traditional costing as well as activity-based costing. So if you can see my screen, you let me know. The question is right before you. Can you see the question? So I want someone to read for us. Then we take this one. We'll solve at least 2 or 3 questions before we finish. Please, someone should read for us and let's continue.
A company manufactures two products, I and A, using the same equipment and familiar processes. An extract of the production data for these products is in one period and is shown below. Product 1, L&M, quantity produced 5,000, 7,000, direct labor per unit 1, 2, machine hours per unit 3 and 1, setup cost in the period 10 and 40, order handled in the period 15 and 60, overhead cost into bracket total factory cost. Relating to machine activity, 220,000. Relating to production run setup, 20,000. Handling of orders, 40,000. Together, 285,000. Required. Calculate the production overhead to be absorbed by 1 unit of each of the products using the following costing method. A traditional approach using a direct labor hours rate to absorb overhead. An activity-based costing approach using a suitable cost drivers to trace the overhead to products.
I believe we can proceed now. Yes. So let's start with our OAR. Now, when you look at this, they said we should use what? Under the traditional costing, they say we should use what to absorb the overheads?
Direct labor hours.
Direct
Yes.
labor hours, right? So the
Yes.
first thing you always do under traditional costing is to first list what? Your overhead absorption rate. And you know, the funny thing about management accounting is that the formulas have marks. You can get up to 3 marks or even 5 marks for writing down a formula. If you don't know, I know a lot of students, they just start and they are working. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to list the formula, you have to write down the key formulae. Is that okay? So we say overhead absorption rate. Please, if you are doing variance analysis, this is the same as the standard rate for overheads. So if you are looking for standard rate for fixed overheads, you are looking for standard rate for variable overhead, it's the same as the OAR. I'm telling you today so you don't forget. Is it clear? So we are saying that this OAR is your total budgeted overheads over your total. Here they say we should use labor hours, right? So total budgeted labor what? Hours. Does that make sense? Now, since we are looking for our total budgeted overheads and our total budgeted labor hours, we are going to look for all the costs and look for all the budgeted hours. So in that case, what is our total budgeted overheads? All the overheads, when we budget them, how much are they? All the costs.
285,000.
Yes, they are 285,000, right? So you can add them up just to show working, right? Even though they are written there, you can just add them up just to show working. Yeah. So total budgeted overheads. So we can have what 220,000 plus 20,000 plus 45,000, right? Which end up giving you the 285,000. I believe you're all following. Then now we need our total budgeted what? What do we need next? Put total budgeted what? Labor
Labor hours.
Labor hours.
hours. Okay. Now, how many labor hours do we have for just one unit? For just one unit. How many labor hours do we have for just one unit?
1.
1 hour for product L and 2 hours for product M, right? But are we producing only one unit?
No.
No.
We are producing how many units for product L?
5,000.
5,000.
5,000. So if we are using 1 hour for product L and we are producing 5,000 units, then for all the 5,000 units, we would have used 5,000 labor hours. True or false?
True.
And this one too, if you are using 2 hours and we are producing 7,000 units, that means overall we will need 14,000 hours. True or false?
True.
So it means that the total labor hours we need should be about 19,000 labor hours. True or false? So this is
True.
how you get your total budgeted labor hours. So now that you've done that, all you need is that you've already gotten your cost here, which is your 285,000. You've already gotten your labor hours. So what do you do then? You can say therefore that my OAR is now what? My total budgeted overheads, which is my 285,000 over my what? My total labor hours, which is 19,000 labor hours. Are we okay? So that will be what now? If you divide, what do you get? You should have your calculator by you. So 285,000 divided by 19,000 labor hours. And that is 15 cedis
Hour.
per labor hour. What this means is that for every labor hour used, it cost the company 15 cedis in overheads. What it means is that let's just assuming overheads is a person like labor. Anytime overheads work, they charge us 15 cedis for every 1 hour that they work. Does it make sense now? Does it make sense?
Yes, please.
Yes, that's what it means. So
It
for
does.
every labor hour worked, are you getting it? It costs 15 cedis in overheads. It costs 15 cedis in overheads, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now that we've been able to get our overhead absorption rate, the next thing is to absorb it into the product. So to get your total overheads itself, we have to absorb the overheads into the product, right? So we are saying that, okay, now for each of the overheads, product L or product M, it was 15 cedis per what? 15 cedis per hour. True or false?
True.
But how many hours were actually used in total for product L?
Sorry.
No, I mean
Hey,
total
sorry.
hours. I'm working in total. How many hours were used? If you want per unit, then you can go this way. But my question is total hours. We calculated it. How many hours were
5,000.
used for product L? 5,000. How
5,000.
many was used for M? 14.
14,000.
So this one will multiply by 5,000 what? Hours, right? And then for product M, it's still the same overhead absorption rate, 15 per hour, right? But we use what? 14,000 hours, right? So what becomes our cost? Our overhead cost for L becomes what?
70.
This guy becomes what?
L becomes 75,000.
And this guy becomes what?
210,000.
110,000. Okay. So you see how easy traditional costing is. So you are just absorbing it into the product. This is how we absorb into the product. You are going to take this 15 per labor hour and multiply by the hours they used. So assuming I'm looking for my cost per unit, what would it become? For product L, you know total cost per unit is your total cost over your total number of units, right? Or your total level of activity. So if I take product L, what becomes my cost per unit? I could have equally just multiplied the 15 by the 3 to get the cost per unit, but I prefer you work in total. Then you come and get the per unit cost because mostly you'll be giving totals, okay? So that you don't stress again to come and multiply. I mean, multiplication is associative. So let's see. That means this 75,000, we can divide it by what? 5,000 what? Hours, right? And then for product M, you can have what? 210,000 divided by what? 14,000 hours. I said hours, units. This guy, we're producing 5,000 units because we need cost per unit, not cost per hour. If it was cost per hour, we divide by the hours. So 7,000 units. No be so. So this one gives us what?
15 cities
15
per
cedi per unit. And this guy gives us what? Is it 30 cedis?
Yeah,
Is
30
it
cities.
30 cedis?
30
Yes,
cities.
30 cedis.
Yes. So this is how we do traditional costing. I believe you all got the approach.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now let's go and do ABC. Now with ABC, okay, with activity-based costing, the OAR, okay, is done for each activity. What did I say?
The OAR is done for each activity.
Yes. Unlike the traditional costing where the OAR is for all the activities, right? Where we put everything together, This one, the OAR is done for each activity because we said what each activity may be driven by a specific activity. That's why we call it activity-based costing, a costing system based on activity. So we are saying that the OAR is done for each activity or each cost, right? Because there's a particular activity that drives the cost. Are we okay? So we are saying that here the OAR, which we also call the cost driver rate. So you can get this as your CDR, your cost driver rate, but I prefer to bring something familiar. So this cost driver rate or the OAR is giving us your total costs in the cost pool, right? Because you're going to pull the cost together. Total cost in the cost pool all over what? Your total number of cost drivers, right? Just like I explained. So sometimes there are multiple cost drivers. Okay, in that case, what do you do? ICA tries as much as possible not to bring those kind of questions. You get nowadays. They like to go simple, but even the simple, you have to do a little bit of thinking. Okay, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to teach you how those things can be done. All right, so you're saying you get your total cost in the cost pool over the total number of cost drivers, right? So you do it for what? Each activity. How many activities did we have? And what drives the cost? When you look at it, when you look at the cost, you see they've broken it down. Unlike traditional costing where you put everything together, you can see that this one we have cost relating to machine activity, cost relating to production run setups, cost relating to handling of orders. You can see. So in that
Yes, sir.
case, we try one. So what's the first cost we have? Machine activity.
Yes, sir.
So we need OAR for what? Machine activity. So my first question is, how do you get the OAR for machine activity cost? What does the formula become? It becomes total what?
Total machine
Machine activity
activity.
what? Activity costs divided by
Machine
total.
hours.
Yes, so it will be influenced by machine hours, right? Total machine what? Hours. Good. So you see how I've coined a formula for only this one first. So you do OER for this one alone first. So in that case, what do we do first? Let's go and get our total machine hours, right? Because we know our total machine activity cost is how much?
220.
220,000, right? So I lay it down. Now we need our total machine hours. Just like we did for the labor hours in the other question, we can get our total machine hours. So let's get our total machine hours. We know that we have product L. How many machine hours was being used?
3.
We're using 3 hours, right? But we are producing how many units?
5,000.
5,000 units. That means this one we need 15,000 machine hours, right? If we come to product M, we are producing what? 7,000, but we need how many hours? Only 1 hour, right? By 7,000. So that gives us what? 7,000 machine hours. So overall, we need 22,000 machine hours, right? We need 22,000 machine hours, which we have. So now it means we can easily get what? The OER for machine what? Machine activity cost, right? So that gives us what? 220,000 divided by what? 22,000. Is it clear?
Yes, please.
Good. So we can get our 220,000 over our 22,000. So 220,000 over our 22,000. So that gives us what? 10
10.
cedis per machine hour. So what's the interpretation? For every machine hour that is used, it costs the company 10 cedis in overheads. Does that make sense? Now, that was the first one. The second cost was what? Production run setup cost, right? So we need OER for what? production setup, right? So that gives us our total what? Production setup cost divided by what? What would it be influenced by? The number of setup in the period, right? It's supposed to be setup in the period, not setup cost. So then the total number of setups. Okay. So in that case, what was the total setup cost?
20,000.
Yes, it was 20,000. Okay. Then what's the total number of setups?
So unless we work that one out.
What's the total number of setup? Product L, the setups were what?
10 setups.
And then product B, product M, how many setups?
40 setups.
40 setups. But why is it that here we didn't say multiplied by 5,000 and multiplied by 7,000? Why? Why didn't we multiply this by 7,000 and 5,000 like we did for machine and labor hours? Who can
And it's
tell me why?
because those ones they told us that per unit, and so we had to multiply by the quantities produced.
Yes. So you must be very careful. If they don't tell you it's per unit, then it is not per unit. Do you understand? Yes. So you see, these ones were per unit, per unit. This setup is not per unit. That means it's total. Do you understand? So we have gotten this. That means our what? Our OER for setup cost will be what? That's our 20,000 divided by 50 setups. Does that make sense? Did it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So our OER for setup costs becomes what? 20,000 divided by what? 50 setups. And that gives us what?
400.
400, right? That's 400 CDs per setup. That means for every setup that we make or production run, it costs us 400 CDs in overheads. Now the third one is what? The handling of orders, right? So we need OAR for order handling. Okay, we need OAR for order handling, right? So how much was the order handling? So we will do total what? Order handling cost, right? Total order handling cost all over what? Total number of what? Orders or orders handled, right? No be so. So what's the total order handling cost?
45,000.
Okay, this was 45,000. Okay. And what's the total number of orders handled?
75,000. 75, sorry.
Okay, 75. How did we get that? We know that this guy was what, 15? And the other guy was what, 60? Is that not so? So these ones were in total. So there's no need to multiply by the unit, right? That means our OER or our cost driver rate for what? Order handling becomes what?
600.
45,000 divided by what? The 75 orders. And that's what? 600 CDs per order, right? Yes, per order. So you are done with that. So all you have to do is now you are going to absorb the overheads. Let's see how to absorb the overhead. So we are now getting what? The overhead statement. Usually it will be cost statement, right? Overhead statement. So sometimes they will add material, labor, and the rest before the overheads, right? But here is only the overheads because we are learning about how to deal with the overheads. So overhead cost, right? Overhead cost. So let's see. Okay, so we have product L, we have product M, right? So now you list the overheads. What's the first overhead cost that we have there? What's the first one?
Machine activity.
Machine activity.
Okay, so we have machine activity cost, right? Machine activity cost. And what was the OER for machine activity? It was 10 cedis also, right?
It was
10
10
cedis.
cedis.
It was 10 cedis, right? Per machine hour. But how many machine hours did we use? We used 15,000 machine hours for product L and 7,000 for product M, right?
Yes, please.
Yes. So if we take product L, we are using what? 10 cedis per what? Machine hour. But we are producing 15,000. We are using 15,000 hours. Not so. For product
Yes,
M,
sir.
it's still 10 cedis per hour. We are using what? 7,000 what? Hours. Is that not so? So this one gives us what? 150,000. And this one gives us 70,000. Not so. You get the idea? We
Yes,
go
sir.
to what? Cost relating to what? Setups, right?
Setup.
Production run setups. So production run setups. And that gives us what? For product L, that is what? I think that one we had, was it 400? Yes, 400 per
Okay.
setup, right? Yes, 400 per setup. But how many setups were done in the period? 10 setups, right? For this guy. And for product M, it's still the same 400 per setup. But how many setups? This guy was 40 setups, right? So if we multiply, this guy now becomes what? I think that is 4,000, right? And then this guy becomes what? Is it
16,000.
16,000? Yes, 16,000. Yeah. So that is it. Not so. Then we come to what? Order handling. Come to order handling. So order handling, we had 600, right? So it
Yes.
was 600 per order. So for both of them, 600 per order, 600 per order. Now we multiply by the number of orders, right? So 600 per order, 600 per order. Oh, why is this thing behaving like this? Multiply by the number of orders. This one was 15 orders. And this one was what? 60 orders. So when we multiply, what do we get?
9,000.
You said this
For
is 9,000.
yes, please.
And the other one is what?
36,000.
So now we add everything up to get a total cost. Let's add up. So 150,000 plus 4,000.
163,000.
This is 100 and
63,000.
okay, and then this one 70.
122,000.
122,000. Okay. If you add the two up, do you get back your 285?
Yes, please.
Yes. So you see how you've been able to spread the cost. So now let's get our cost per unit. So how do you get our cost per unit? You can just divide by the number of units straightforward, right? So for product L, we have 163,000 divided by, they were producing 5,000 units for this product, right? And for product
5,000.
M, we were having 122,000 divided by what? 7,000 units, right? So what do we get? 163,000 divided by 5,000. That is
Yep.
32 cedi 60 pesos, right?
Yeah.
Per unit. Okay, and then for this guy, 122,000 divided by 7,000. That's 17.43 per unit,
Yes.
right? Okay, so that is it. So that was how to do ABC. Was it a difficult process? Have you gotten the understanding?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any question? It's question time. It's 5 o'clock already.
So, boss,
Yes, boss.
so aside the trick that you gave to us, that when it comes to the traditional method, we use the total to do the calculation, unlike the ABC where you need to do it based on the number of overhead costs, the different costs for the overhead before you do the apportionment or the total salvation. Is there
Okay.
any other trick again?
Any other trick?
Yes, please.
Oh, a lot, a lot. It's step by step, okay. As we go along, we'll be learning other tricks as well. Do you understand? So for now, don't be scared. If I say I got you, I got you. Okay. So we'll look at all the tricks. So we are going to take another one quickly. Now that you understand ABC, we are going to take another question with tricks. I think our time is 5:30. So let's take another simple question that has tricks, right? A little bit of trick, and then we can call it a day. So let's see. Yes. So look at this one. That came in July 2023. Okay. Question 3. We can see. Can you all see? So it
Yes,
says
sir.
what? The following 3 products are produced by a company under the 1D1F policy with what? Additional information provided. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Are we okay? So we can
Yes.
see, right? The various costs, the units, number of units in a batch, number of machine hours per unit. Can we see that?
Yes,
So
please.
we have various costs. Here they say we should use what? ABC,
ABC.
calculate the cost driver rate and calculate the overhead cost per unit, right? Using ABC. So this was purely ABC. I told you now, ICA doesn't want to go like he used to, where you get a full cost like 20 marker for ABC. Now they don't usually do that, right? Where you get a full 20 marker. Now it's 10 marks, and 10 marks means they are not going to stress you. But you are supposed to pay attention, right? And be smart about it. So what's the first thing we need to do? We need our OAR. Our OAR becomes what? Our total cost in what?
So
Total
the
cost
total.
in the cost pool, right?
Yes. Yes.
All over what? Total cost in the cost pool all over what?
Total
But
cost driver.
total number of bus drivers.
Yes, the total number of cost drivers. So that is how it works. So total cost in the cost pool all over the total number of costs drivers, right? Or the total number of activity that drive the cost. So total number of cost drivers. Okay, so that is it. So now there are 3 activities. So let's start with OAR for what? Labor related. So labor related activity, the OAR becomes what? Total labor related cost, right? All over what? What influences labor related cost?
Labor hours.
Labor hours per unit.
Yes, so all over the total what? Not labor hours per unit or labor hours. The per unit is for 1 unit. So if you use per unit, you'll be wrong. You always need total. If it is total, you need total. They'll give you per unit so that you find the total. Since we already have the cost, the labor related cost was how much?
45,000.
Yes, it was 45,000 cedis. Okay. Now we need the total labor hours. So let's get our total labor hours. By now you've gotten the trick, right? So total labor hours for product C, we have what? We were using 3 hours, but how many units were we producing?
4,000.
4,000 units, right? So in that case, we have what? 3, 4? We have 12,000 labor hours, right? For this guy. What about product D? It was 2.5 hours, right? But we were producing 6,000 units. So that gives us what?
15,000.
So this is 15,000 hours, right? And then for product G, we have 1.5 hours going by what? 4,800, right? Units. So how many units? How many labor hours?
7,200. 7,200.
7,200 hours. Okay. So now, if we put this together, what's the total labor hours? What's the total labor hours?
34,200.
34,200. That means we can get our OAR for labor related becomes what now?
You're 45,000 over 34,200.
Yes. I hope by now we are getting the tricks.
Yes,
More
please.
we are getting there. Yes. Okay, so that gives us 45,000 divided by 34.2. But sometimes you can just say A, you name this A and name this B and just say OAR is A over B, right? Right? Then you just put the figure there. But anyway, I hope you get the style. So there are so many ways. Man accounting itself does not have a format. So if you find a way you are comfortable with, I hope you are comfortable with this approach.
Yes, please.
Yes, I like to go systematic. So 45,000 divided by 34,200, that gives us 1 CD,
32 pesos.
32 pesos per labor hour. So what's the interpretation? For every labor hour that is used, it costs us what? 1 CD, 32 pesos in overheads. Make sense? Make sense? So what's the next cost? Batch related, right? This is where the heat will start. Batch related. OAR. So what becomes the format? It becomes total batch related what? Cost, right?
Yes.
Total batch related cost over what?
Over
Over
number of
total.
units.
Number of units in a batch.
No.
Over number of
Total number of batches.
Number of batches.
Yeah, total
Because
number
this
of
is
batches.
batch related cost. You see, they didn't give us a number. They didn't give us the number of batches. They gave us the number of units in a batch. Can you see the thing? So they didn't give us the number of batches, but they rather gave us number of units in one batch. And a lot of students will deviate because they'll go and divide by unit in a batch. It's not unit in a batch. It is batch related, meaning it is directly influenced by the batches of units, not the units in the batch. Do you get the idea now? Please, those who are asking for the
Yeah.
tricks in ABC, are you getting there?
Uh,
So, with that being said, we are saying that, okay, then we already know the batch related cost. How much was the batch related cost?
69,000.
So our batch related cost was 69,000. Good. Now, what do we need? We need a number of batches, right? So let's go and get the number of batches, which can be a headache
400.
for students, right? Now, they are telling us that there are 400 units in one batch. So if one batch like this, are you getting it? if I do my C, D, and G, okay,
Proceed.
are you following the style? Are you all listening?
Yes.
Yes,
Are we
please.
getting there? Yes.
Yes, sir.
So go systematic, and man accounting will never be a problem. It's because people rush. You are not supposed to rush. Get the concept. It's about the concept. So we are saying that okay, if one batch be say 400 na ewo mu dia, if 400 is what is in every batch, and you are producing 4,000, then how many 400s are in the 4,000? That's all we are asking. So if one batch here is 400 units, are you getting it? If one batch here is what? 500 units, and this one is 600 units, right? One batch is equal to the number of units, right? Then how many batches will be in 4,000 units, 6,000 units, and then what? 4,800 units. How do we get that?
We divide.
You just divide, right? So that means your number of batches becomes what? This 4,000 divided by the 400, 6,000 divided by the 500, and then what? 48 divided by what? The 500. Makes sense. Because how many 400 is 400 is 1. Then how many 400s are here? Is it not 10? If 500 is 1, how many 500s are here? If 600 is 1, how many 600s are in this 48? That is what becomes the number of batches. You see, is this not very easy? But you see, you can easily deviate. Who has noticed
I have.
that if you don't take your
Easy.
time, you go and divide by number of
Easy.
units in the batch. So this is 10 batches. Meboa. So you have 6,000 divided by 500. How many batches do we have? 12 batches.
12.
So this one.
Prof. G is 600, not 500.
Okay, 600. Yes. So we have 4,800 divided by what? 600. That's 8 batches, right? So what's our total batches now?
30.
30.
30 batches. So you see how this thing is. Aswadin. So in that case, what's our OER for batch related?
69,000 over 30.
Over 30 batches, right? Yeah. So what do we get?
2,300.
Okay, 2,300 per batch. So for every batch that we deploy, it costs us 2,300 in overheads. Nti Bafie, do you all understand?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So is ABC difficult?
No, sir.
Okay.
Yes, I need to be very careful, especially the drivers.
Yeah, so it's all about understanding the concept. For me, it's not about how many questions you solve, it's about the concept. So man accounting, you can solve 300 questions and still fail. Me, it's not about man accounting, it's not about question solving. Because every question is different in its own way. Getting the concept in, it's very important. Are you getting? That's why I'm stressing on the concept. And I believe we are all grabbing the concept small.
Yes, please.
Good.
Yes.
So the next one is machine related. So what becomes the OER? I want someone to give me the formula. It becomes total what?
Total machine
Total
cost.
machine related cost.
Total machine related costs divided by
Total number
number
of machine hours.
of machine
Um,
hours. Okay, good. That is it. So in that case, what was the total machine related cost?
120,000.
Okay, that is 120,000. Okay. Now we need the total machine hours, right? So machine hours, we had product what? Product C. We were having 4 hours, right?
Yes, and 4,000 units was produced.
4,000 units were produced. Okay. Product
D.
D. You're having 5 hours, right?
Yes, please.
That's
And
6,000
6 hours.
hours to produce. Okay. Then product G. We're having what? 7
7.
hours. About
4,800.
800 hours we produce, right? So what do we get?
So 16,000 for C,
16,000.
30,000 for D,
Hmm? And then this guy.
33,600.
Okay, so if we put all together,
That would be 79,600.
79.6. Yes. Machine hours. Okay, good. So in that case, we can easily get our OAR, right? And you see, because this thing is stressful, IC has given you 6 marks for doing this. But you can go the quicker way, right? Yeah, I'm teaching you. That's why I'm taking my time to break everything down. You can open brackets and say 4 times 4,000 plus 5,000, 5 times 6 plus 7 times 4, 8. Or you can equally go this way. I always go this way. So in that case, what's our OER for machine related? That's 120,000 divided by 79,600.
1 CD, 51 pesos.
So it's 1 CD 51 pesos
Yes, please.
per machine hour, right?
So for every machine.
Yes, for every machine hour used. Good. You are now getting the interpretation. I'm happy. So now let's go and do our cost statement. Yeah, we didn't have material, labor, and the rest. So we just start with the overhead, right? So we have C, we have D, and we have what? G, right? So let's bring Ghana CD, Ghana CD, Ghana CD. And this statement alone is how much? It's 4 marks, right? So let's go. So first of all, we have what? What's the first cost?
No, Prof.
Yes, boss.
They were asking for only C. So can you go for only C, or you need to do all the
Oh, okay.
rest?
They ask for only C. Yeah, so you only do for C.
Sure.
But here I'm teaching you, I want to do all. So they didn't ask for all. Oh. I am teaching you, so I want to do all. Are we okay? But you would have done only C. Is it clear?
Yeah. Yes, Prof.
Yeah, we are learning. So, but for are we okay?
Yes, Prof.
Okay. We are learning, so I want you to learn how to do all. In the exam, don't say that I did all, so you are going to do all. They only pick C and leave the rest. Okay, so labor related, I believe we already have the OAR. How much was it? Labor related. It was 1 CD 32 pesos, right?
Yes,
But we have the hours somewhere. Okay, 12, 15, 7, 2. Not so.
that's right.
So we have C by 12,000, right? Then D, 1 CD 32 pesos by 15,000. Then G, the same 1 CD 32 pesos by what? 7,200. Or is that not so?
Yes.
Please give me the figures and let's go. We have a lot to do.
So 15, the first one is 15,840.
0.72. So this is 15,840. Okay. And then the second one,
19,800.
19,800. Then the last one,
Then the last one is one, one,
9,504.
is that is how much?
9,504.
Okay, 9,504. Okay. Then the next one was what? Batch related, right?
Yes.
Okay, so batch related. How much did we get? Batch related. 2,300 per batch, right? So 2,300 per batch. 2,300 per batch. 2,300 per batch. So now we have to multiply by the number of batches, which I believe we've already done, right? So 10, 12, and 8. No, so we just multiply by our 10 batches, 12 batches, and 8 batches. Not so. So this
Yes.
one gives us what?
23.
23,000. The other one gives us how much?
27,600.
27,600. And the other one?
18,400.
18,400.
Okay, good. Then finally we come to what? Machine related, right? Come to machine related. So machine related to, we had 1 CD 51 pesos or something. Yeah. 1 CD 51 pesos. So C, you have 1 CD 51 pesos. By how many machine hours? We're using 16, 30, 33, 6, right? So 15,000. Was it 15 or 16?
16.
16, okay. Then for product D, it was
30,000.
1 CD 51 by 30,000, right? Then C, 1 CD 51 by what? 33.
33,600.
So what do we get?
So the first one is 24,160.
Okay, 24,160.
The next one is 45,30. That is 4,530.
45,300.
45,300, sorry.
Okay, and the next one?
50,736.
Like this.
Yes, please.
Okay, so let's get our total overhead cost. So add them up. There are 3, right? So add them up. Let's divide by the number of units.
So the first one is 63,000.
Okay, the next one?
92,700. The last is 78,640.
78,640. Okay. So in that case, let's divide by the number of units. So 4,000 units, 6,000 units, and then 4,800.
So with C, it will be 15.75.
15.75 per unit. Okay, then
The other one is 15.45.
15.45. The next one.
The last one is 19.66.
Okay. This gives a better representation of cost than the traditional costing. Okay. Because this one took into consideration the various activities that actually influence the cost. As against the other one, which just uses, if we were doing traditional costing and they told us to use labor hours to absorb,
No,
you know
sir.
how we would have done it,
Oh,
right?
I believe
the
the
last
last
one
one is
is 16.38.
16.8.
But you understand. So what if we're using traditional costing? Then we would have taken all these costs, added them together, and then would have used something like labor hours or machine hours, right, to absorb
Sure.
them. And I believe I've taught you how to do that as well. So this question,
Yes.
assuming I told you to use traditional costing, you can still use that to do this. True or false?
Yes,
True.
please.
So this is all about ABC. And I believe we've learned the tricks, so you should be fine. There's another different trick as well. As we go along, we'll definitely come around it. I think that one came in August 2022, question 2. Yeah. So, all right, that brings us to the end of our session. This is streaming live, so you can get the video on YouTube. This first week, all your videos, you're going to get them on the YouTube channel, just like yesterday's one too. It's on the channel. All right. I believe it was a wonderful session, right?
Absolutely.
Good.
Yes.
More wonderful sessions will be coming. If you want to master management accounting, the normal class is also going on. We start on Thursday. I also have a sample of management accounting videos, quite a number of them on my YouTube channel. You can also watch them. I've covered almost everything in the syllabus for you, step by step. Right. So may the Lord be with you.
And also be
And
with
keep
you.
your fire burning. Learn. That's why we are. You learn.
Okay, so Thursday it's coming on, right?
Yes, it will come on.
Okay.
Prof, what
That's fine.
time?
You
Think
mean
it's
the normal
6.
class?
Yes,
Yes,
Yes.
it's
please.
6 p.m. It's 6 p.m.
To
6.
10.
Yes.
Wow.
So I'm compiling. It's very loaded though. My classes are very packed. You can see. Even this short
Okay.
session, you see what we have done. For me, dear. My classes are very packed and I'll stress you to pass. So that's
So,
why we
Prof, I
Yes,
think
please.
the timetable is once in a weekend. I don't know whether there will be an
Oh no,
extension.
there's an extension. All right. So
Okay.
sometimes I will add some days to it. But in the
Okay.
earlier sessions, you don't need so much because what we
Okay.
are going to start it. I know most of you haven't done costing. Okay. So I will start by teaching you how to do costing because a lot of people get exemptions and that's what is making them suffer. But I take the first phases, like the first 2 weeks, to teach you costing. So marginal and absorption costing, traditional costing, overhead absorption and allocation, and mathematics. So we'll learn algebra, equations, ratios. Those things you need them, indices, percentages. Do you understand? It is those things that are failing people. Some people are very good, but when it comes to basic mathematics, so they move a negative figure instead of making a positive over the equation, the equal sign, it's still negative, and then you mess everything up. I told you the other time, right? You need these techniques. If you don't have them, then you will fail management accounting no matter the number of questions you solve. Man accounting is not about question solving, it's about concept assimilation. Do you understand? Every course has its own way you have to, you don't pamper every lady the same way or every man the same way. Yes, obiani ni subain. So that's why cost behavior is embarrassing. You have to know how to what? Crow them. You understand? Yes. Kakra. It's like that. So every paper in the people approach all the papers the same way. It's not true. Every paper has its own way. We pamper the paper. You understand? Management accounting is what the mushrunko. Management accounting is a jealous girlfriend. You have to take your time and understand the concepts. Then once she understands you, you are good to go. You understand? All right. That was just by the way. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right.
So when are we having the next session of solving questions? Then Passco.
It runs every day, but it depends on the course. Emmy, do you mean Emmy? Please check the timetable. It's on the
Yeah, I
Passco
think it's
platform.
Saturday or so.
For Emmy, is it
Thursday.
no, it's
Yeah.
Thursday.
Thursday.
I mean, yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
Thursday
Thursday.
morning. Yeah. So I'll see you then.
Okay.
What is your YouTube? No.
Oh, it's Profs Training Solutions.
Okay.
Just search Profs Training Solutions. Yeah. And very soon I'll be uploading more and more and more videos for you. I have thousands of videos. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe and share with your friends as well so that we grow the team and the videos. I hope that is fine. All right. So I'll see you.